This program may contain language or material that may be considered offensive. The views expressed are those of the speaker and do not reflect the views of the management of WHRW or those of other WHRW station members.
Hey out there, welcome back to Spitballing Season 2. We're glad to be back. We hope you're happy to hear us. We're a little different today as Jeremy Fader is not joining us today. Instead, it'll be our backup, Keshav Udeshi. Keshav, say hi to the people.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Well, we have a lot to talk about, but first, I just want to talk about a loss in the Spitballing community. We lost our most dedicated listener this summer, my grandfather, big sports fan, always loved to talk Mets and Giants, and even when I bored him with hockey, he'd pretend to listen. So it's a big loss. We miss you, Pop. We love you, and this season's for you. But we have tons to get to today, tons of sports news. Football is back, baseball is nearing its end, and basketball is driving us as nuts as ever. Let's start off with...
Wait.
Oh, yeah,
I think you forgot one thing.
And there's soccer. We're going to talk about soccer today. If anyone wants to call in and talk to us, the number is 607-777-2137. That's 607-777-2137. Let's kick things off with the Mets and the Yankees. Both teams heading towards a playoff push. The Mets are in. The Yankees are days away from being in. And both teams have truly been something to watch, Keshav. What do you think?
No, definitely. The Yankees have looked better recently. It's been interesting to see Aaron Judge's chase for to beat Roger Maris.
To be the true home run king, because
home run king.
Barry Bonds is a cheater.
The Yankees, they're playing the Red Sox tonight. Definitely should be an interesting series. Definitely going to start looking to clinch the division soon.
Yeah, and the Red Sox are in the bottom of the division, but anytime it's Red Sox-Yankees, you know the players in the Boston clubhouse want to play spoilers and try to stop the Yankees from claiming first place, even though they look to be in a pretty good spot to do that. Going to the other borough now, the Mets, who have clinched a spot, seem to be a much scarier situation with the fact that Atlanta is right on their tails. Atlanta doesn't seem to ever lose. What do you think of that?
I mean, to be honest, I don't know too much, but I know the Mets haven't been great recently. I know the Braves have definitely been winning. Should be interesting this division race coming up.
Well, the Braves have been finding ways to get it done, and no doubt it's because of their young stars that have really come through between Michael Harris and Vaughn Grisham and Spencer Strider, who is quickly on his way to a Rookie of the Year award. But the Mets have somehow fended off the Fighting Braves for weeks now, holding on to a narrow one-game lead. Tonight will be crucial as the Mets do not play, but we will see a big matchup between Atlanta and Philadelphia. Philadelphia fighting for their lives in the playoffs at home in a 4-game series. Who do you think comes through tonight, Philly or Atlanta?
I'm going to say Atlanta. They've been on a roll. They've been winning. They look unbeatable right now. So, what do you think about the matchup? What do you see for this upcoming series?
It's going to depend on really how much Philly wants it. How hungry are they? Can they go above and beyond and clinch this playoff spot that they're just barely holding on to? Or will they fall under the pressure and be the Phillies of the past? Tonight's matchup is Max Fried for Atlanta taking on... It looks to be, let's see if I can get it to come up, Ranger Suarez for the Phillies. So the Phillies have a decent guy going tonight, but the Braves do have their ace on the mound, and it's going to be how much Philly wants it. That's truly what it's going to be.
What do you think's going to be the main X factor in terms of who's going to come away with the series?
I think that the X factor is, one, the slumping Braves a little bit, which they've been getting done without Matt Olson, mainly, who has been a little bit of a dive. If he can really come through, there's really no way of beating them if they have that whole lineup firing. But the Phillies, like I said, it's how much they want it. If they can play 27 hard outs and not be the Phillies that we've seen from weeks and months and years past, then they can pull it off. They can beat the Braves. especially with Ranger Suarez on the mound. They have a good lineup between Harper and Real Muto and Castellanos and Schwarber, who have had, both those two have had down years, but still are good hitters. And then you sprinkle in the Bohms of the world and the Rhys Hoskins of the world and even Bryson Stott. And they have a good lineup that can come through. It just depends, like I said a million times, how much they want it. How much do they want to be a postseason team?
And I know, this has been a topic of discussion recently, especially between you and some other people. What do you think of Trey Turner?
I am a huge Trey Turner fan as he's hitting the market this season. This market for shortstops, there's two that just stick out of my mind as big ones. It's Atlanta's Dansby Swanson, who has absolutely proven himself to get paid this offseason, and Trey Turner, who is having a phenomenal season, but not a Trey Turner phenomenal season, if that makes sense. He's under 30 home runs. He's around 300. Usually he's batting 320 with 30 home runs. But still, that's going to get you paid in the offseason. You are going to get a nice contract with a nice team. I'd be interested to see where those two land because
I know you as a Mets fan have been kind of optimistic recently.
Yeah, that's unrealistic optimism for me for Trey Turner. I know that's not going to happen, but I can dream. But the big free agent that we're going to talk about, where will Aaron Judge play baseball next season is what I'm more concerned about. I know that many people can't see him leaving the Yankees, but can the Yankees even afford him with the big contracts of Garrett Cole and Giancarlo Stanton? Or will he find a new home out in the West Coast like it's been rumored with San Francisco? Any thoughts on that?
Aaron Judge is definitely having an MVP season this year. He's definitely proven to the Yankees and to the rest of the MLB that he deserves he deserves a large contract. So I definitely think it would be a large mistake if the Yankees don't re-sign him. But I would hate to see them, go to the other side of New York and maybe the Mets. But
I think the Yankees. I think he'll ultimately end up back with the Yankees. I think something's going to happen. But he is going to get the highest contract we have ever seen for a position player ever. He's about to break a home run record, and he will get absolutely paid. It's going to be ridiculous. An interesting team, I think, to watch in any sweepstakes is St. Louis, believe it or not, because St. Louis was all in on Juan Soto, so they have some money somewhere, and then Juan Soto ends up in San Diego, so now they still have that money that I'd like to see them maybe upgrade at shortstop from Tommy Edman, maybe upgrade in the outfield. They also need pitching help, so that'll be an interesting thing to watch. A few pitchers coming out, Carlos Rodon, Clayton Kershaw's coming out, but I don't see him going anywhere. Taijuan Walker's coming out, but I wouldn't pay Taijuan. So it'll be interesting. I think now it's time to switch over to another sport that everyone loves every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Let's switch over to football. What teams have surprised you most?
So I think the most interesting team this week, at least, was the Miami Dolphins, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the New York Giants.
The Giants are 2-0. They're on pace to win 17 games, which is astounding. I didn't even think they were going to win 2 games. And the Jets have won a game.
Yeah, the Jets, New York football had a good, or New York sports had a good weekend. All 4 teams, the Yankees, Mets, Jets, and Giants all won. But, as a Jets fan myself, I can't get too optimistic. It was a good win, but it was nice to see Garrett Wilson. I believe they spent 9th pick, I want to say.
Garrett Wilson, I thought he was the 10th.
10th pick. But, it was nice to see him break through. I'm excited to see what he does this season. And also, it'll also be interesting to see their other pieces and Breece Hall. I really hope that they can kind of give him the carries in this upcoming week. But I think the biggest question for the Jets this season is Zach Wilson and how he returns from his injury. We all thought that it could have been he could have been out for longer, but it's nice to see that. I think that he's projected to come back week 6, which that's kind of the make or break for the Jets this season. Just seeing some sort of development in Zach Wilson this year.
Because the Jets really, let's be honest, there's no playoff hopes there. I mean, between Buffalo, who has looked pretty good these first 2 weeks, and even Miami, who is supposed to be having an upward year, I don't really see the Jets as a playoff team.
No.
But they don't need to tank because they have their quarterback for the
Yeah,
future. So just make it fun and try to get yourself a decent draft spot.
Yeah, they don't need a tank this year. Definitely not expecting anything in the playoffs this year. But I'm expecting improvement from last year. I think a good goal for them this year would be between 6 and 7 wins. I think that would be a successful season. And then, they'll see what they can do in the offseason, and hopefully in a couple of years we can see them in the playoffs, maybe competing.
So what about that NFC East? Because I know you're a big guy on the Eagles. You're all in on that, but that division is a little up for grabs, especially with Dak out for a long period of time. The Washington Commanders are always a question mark, and the Giants, who, let's be real, they're not going to keep this up, but...
Right. I mean, so far the Commanders have looked the worst out of the 4 teams. I definitely think right now, within the first 2 games, the Eagles are the front runners. I mean, they've just been playing really good football. Jalen Hurts has been playing at such a high level right now. You got their defense, their defensive line. They've got one of the best offensive lines in the league. They're a really interesting team. I can definitely see them making a run in the playoffs. I don't know Super Bowl, but I could definitely see them going pretty far. The Cowboys are also an interesting question. Just you got to see some sustained level of play with Cooper Rush. You can't expect too much from him, but they're definitely looking forward for Dak Prescott getting back. I know CeeDee's been taking a hit just because of this. He's not getting the target share that he usually would, but they were able to come out with a win last week with Cooper Rush running the offense. So I mean, right now I have the Cowboys in second. I have the Commanders coming in third, and then I have the Giants, unfortunately, in last. It's just not sustainable for me.
Yeah, come on, it's not gonna happen. The question with the Giants is, have they already kind of beat themselves at the season for the fact that winning 2 games in the NFL, you're probably not going to get that first overall pick.
Oh no.
And they've been talks about upgrading at a quarterback.
Yeah, with Daniel Jones, there's question marks around him. And there's definitely a very good quarterback class coming in with C.J. Stroud and with those other guys. So it should they have a very, very easy schedule this year, which can be concerning for some Giants fans who are looking for them to tank and maybe get an upgrade at quarterback. But the Giants are... I just don't see them sustaining this level of play. I believe they have a very easy schedule coming up. I think they get they have the Bears next. I mean, I can see them winning those games.
I like watching the Bears, to be honest. I like the young Bears of they're especially when they went sliding in San Francisco. They're just fun and exciting. I love young teams that they don't really, they can't win a Super Bowl or have a chance, but they're exciting and they're going to win some games.
Listen, Justin Fields hasn't been what we've kind of expected of him, but they're definitely an interesting team. Darnell Mooney hasn't gotten off to the best start. I think you can say that because he's only thrown the ball maybe between 15 and 20 times a game. So there's not that much on offer for receivers out there, but I don't see the Browns doing too well this year. It's just a matter for them.
It's tough without a real starting quarterback. Yeah. I mean, no offense, but you're starting at number 2 for the next 11 weeks. Is it that Deshaun Watson's out?
The Bears?
I thought you just said the Browns.
Oh, I meant to say the Bears.
Yeah, I was confused on why you said the Browns.
That's my fault. I meant to say the Bears. But no. Justin Fields is definitely a talent for the future. I just don't see it this year.
Yeah, and I guess we can talk about the Browns now and Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah.
It's been kind of a odd week for suspensions, I would say, between all sports. I mean,
well, first of all, we got to talk about that loss to the Jets. That was great as a Jets fan.
Yeah, that was Garrett Wilson, nice reception, great throw from Flacco. I can't believe Joe Flacco's a winning quarterback in 2022. He won a game.
I mean, I think he had over he had 350 passing yards, which is I mean, as a Jets fan, it's great to see. But again, in that game, you're 2 minutes left in the game. You're up by 2 scores. How do you possibly blow that to the New York Jets?
It was an
it's just
onside kick, right?
embarrassing.
They
Yeah.
how do you not secure the kick?
That was a game. And another game I think we got to talk about
Wait,
is
but I want to go back. I think that it was summed up perfectly. I saw this online. The Browns browned harder than the Jets jet.
yes.
That game,
Yes.
which I thought was completely perfect.
And another game I think we got to talk about are the Ravens. What a game that was.
Well, the Ravens better enjoy Lamar's last season because he's gone at the end of this. All right? Either you pay him now or you're going to be in trouble at the end of the season.
I mean,
It's kind of nice saying that
Lamar,
without having
Lamar was playing at an MVP level at that on Sunday.
It's nice saying something bad about the Ravens and not having my co-host immediately jump on me.
Oh. Well, the Dolphins also looked at really, really good. I don't think Tua. I think Tua's an average quarterback at best.
But now he has an above-average weapon in Tyreek Hill.
Yes, I think he's got some weapons on his on the offensive side of the ball. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle both went off this week. I think Tua. I still don't see him as kind of in the top tier of quarterbacks in the NFL. At best, I see him mid-tier quarterback. I don't think he's anything special. It's just for him, if he can stay accurate, then I think the Dolphins will have a successful season with the amount of offensive weapons that they have.
All right, we're about halfway through, so I'm going to quickly remind everyone our phone number to call if you have any questions for us. 607-777-2137. 607-777-2137. Give us a call. We'd love to answer them. It'd be fun.
Definitely.
Let's switch over to basketball. We're not going to dive into anything offseason between the Knicks assembling the mid-three of Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and R.J. Barrett, or the failed Donovan Mitchell. Let's just go quickly before we give you your time at soccer. Let's talk about Ime Udoka
Oh, yeah.
and the
that
harsh
situation.
suspension just handed down by the Celtics of a whole season for a consensual relationship with a female staff member. That is just shocking to me
ridiculous.
that he got
It's
a whole
ridiculous.
year suspension. I can understand maybe a few games or I don't even know if it's consensual.
Listen, the reason, I mean, it broke the policy and like with the
I mean,
Celtics
if
back
it breaks
office and that
the
sort of
front
stuff.
office policy, then yes. But a whole season?
The whole season is kind
A
of
whole
absurd.
season? It's like you just
You see,
you just made a finals run with Ime Udoka, so obviously he knows what he's doing, and now you're going to take him away?
you see the suspensions and all the others, and in the NFL, and and you compare it to this, it's kind of ridiculous. The fact that Deshaun Watson's only getting 14 games is kind of ridiculous. He's in there for the entire. He's going to end up, if they make the playoffs, they're going to end up he can play in the playoffs.
He had
which
more
is-
allegations, I think, than Bill Russell
Yeah.
had rings.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous at this point. I have nothing more to say.
It's crazy. It was a rough week for an NBA coach. Did you see the whole Doc Rivers scandal thing? That was so weird on its own. And then you had Udoka, and now
I actually want to mention one thing, which I found kind of crazy, and it was the ESPN list for the top 10 players this season.
yeah.
How is Kevin Durant and LeBron James not a top 5 player in the NBA?
Well, they didn't release the top 5, but the top 5 is going to be Curry, right? Giannis, Jokic, Luka, and who is the fifth one I'm missing? Embiid. I don't know if I could sit here and argue with you about some of those players that are better than Durant, to be honest. I don't know if I can sit here and argue with... Curry definitely gets a boost after this whole playoff run, after this last thing, so I would 100% agree him top 5.
In my book, Kevin Durant.
Giannis, yes.
In my book, Kevin Durant healthy is the best player in the league.
Kevin Durant healthy, yes. It's the question marks for me, the 3 question marks of top 5, and even one more of a yes is Luka, is more of a yes than a no.
Yes.
Embiid and Jokic.
Yes.
They're question marks for me.
Definitely question marks, but Nikola Jokic is a unicorn. He has the IQ of Chris Paul at the center position.
Yeah, and I will give it to you that I know Kevin Durant should be a top 5, but I don't know if I see it anymore from LeBron James as a top 5. He's top 10 in this league, obviously, but top 5, there's a lot of.
He averaged 30 in his 19th season in the NBA. That is absurd. That is crazy.
Yes, he did, but yet he still didn't make the playoffs.
That's also true.
And I am a huge LeBron supporter. I don't like LeBron, obviously, but I agree that he is the greatest player of all time. But I don't know if I don't want to say star, but if I have a team and I'm building around one star, and I get to pick any star in the league, LeBron will not be one of my top 5 choices.
Yeah.
But neither would Jokic or Embiid, to be honest. I would definitely start a franchise with Curry, Luka, Durant, Giannis, one of the 4. Maybe I'd go LeBron there, but I probably wouldn't. Only because if it's his age, and who knows, he could slow down at any time.
No, I mean
He's 38 years old now, LeBron
Yeah,
James?
it's true.
37? He could hit a wall at any moment. Now, I'm not saying he's going to, because LeBron James has proven that he is ageless at times, but it could always happen. He's turning 38 at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I think we got to give a shout to Joel Embiid too. I could argue he was robbed of the MVP last year.
Well, Joel Embiid has proven his worth beyond a doubt between the fact that he somehow was made a deep playoff run with Ben Simmons, which that's just an award on its own, and then a struggling Harden, a struggling Harden, Joel Embiid still put the 76ers as a team to fear.
But listen, the pieces that the 76ers have are they're still one of the best teams in the East. There's no doubt about it.
They are 100% a dangerous team, but they will become an elitely dangerous. That's not a word, elite, but I want to stress better than dangerous if James Harden is Houston James Harden.
No, yeah,
and not Brooklyn James Harden.
I think that's the biggest question
the
mark
X factor
for them.
them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, James Harden's had problems with his fitness.
He just doesn't seem to care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think that's exactly the way I would put it too. I mean, I think he struggled with the new rule changes for the NBA for shooting fouls and that sort of stuff.
Trae Young, but even Trae Young found a way to make it work.
Yeah, but James Harden hasn't seemed to really adapt to it, and I mean, it's obviously showing in his game. I think for him, if he's put in the effort and he's actually shown that he cares, then the 76ers can be a really dangerous team.
And I think we will leave it at that. And as I promised you,
yes.
I know you're like a little kid in a candy store. You can start talking about soccer. I'll give you 5 minutes before I sign off. Give it to him.
All right. So, first of all, as we come in we're going to talk about the Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League.
Yes.
Let's go.
So, we've come to the first international break, and it's been quite interesting. I can't lie. I would not have expected Arsenal to be at the top of the table.
Me neither.
They are definitely an interesting team.
100%.
They're Cole, you can't do this to the
Let's go Premier League.
I mean, with the young pieces that they got with Gabriel Jesus, with Martin Odegaard, Emil Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka, and Saliba on the other side of the ball, they're definitely an interesting team. I can see them top 4 this year, maybe even getting a Champions League spot. But another team that I really want to talk about is Man United. And the position that they're in was concerning.
Extremely concerning. Until
that Liverpool game.
Yeah, agreed.
That Liverpool game, I think, showed how good of a coach that Erik Ten Hag can be. He absolutely transformed that team after that loss, and he was able to show to them, to actually play with some passion, to play with some heart, and they could get good results. And I'll admit that Liverpool haven't been the best that they've been this season, but still, for a Man United fans, that is definitely a really encouraging win for them, as I think they've won their last 4 games since then. I mean, Liverpool too. They've been concerning. There's kind of a curse for, I think, Jurgen Klopp's. I think it's the 7th year.
What, is Drake rooting for them?
No. There's a curse apparently with Jurgen Klopp, their coach, that after their 7th year at the team, they just go downhill. But I mean, Liverpool have too many good players. Trent, Mo Salah, they're just too good to be where they are right now. I think they have a big game coming up in the Champions League too against Rangers, and this could definitely. I think that game can definitely change the course for their season. And I know they were also supposed to play Chelsea, but that got postponed because of the unfortunate death of the Queen, which kind of I think they needed that break just to kind of get their mindset set for this upcoming international break, so they can come in running on the ground for after this international break.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they come back from that and if they can really perform.
Yeah, and another player
See,
who
I know soccer.
another
Go me.
another player that I really want to talk about is Erling Haaland. As a Man City fan,
And I want to hear about Erling Haaland.
Erling Haaland is a beast. He is an absolute unit, an absolute robot. 11 goals in 7 games, 2 hat-tricks. He is something special. And Man City are looking more dangerous than ever, and I think they are going to win the UEFA Champions League this year.
Wow. Calling a champion already.
I mean, it's definitely evaded their grasp in the past couple of years, but I just think they have way too much talent this year. Now they got that one goal scorer that they needed to push through those difficult Champions League games. And I mean, with Kevin De Bruyne, with Riyad Mahrez, with Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, he's got all the playmakers. João Cancelo, he's got all the playmakers around him. All they need to do is whip a ball into the box and hope he gets on it, and it's very likely that he'll get something on it. And City is my favorite team. I'm really excited for their season this year.
So I just got yelled at by my mom for she goes, "Don't be a jerk," because she thinks that my comments about soccer have been jerky. So I'm sorry if I was a jerk, because my mom was not happy about it. We are running out of time. We have 2 minutes left, so give us one final prediction, winning it all. Who's raising the trophy at the end of this?
For what?
For the Premier League.
Oh, for the Premier League, Man City.
I
Listen, I'm very biased. I'm not going to lie. But I just think they're too good this year. I don't see Arsenal keeping this up. I definitely see them being top 4, but I do not see them winning the league. I think the closest contenders this year will be Tottenham. They are an interesting team as well. With Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Kulusevski, they have an interesting lineup, and that can be very dangerous as a counter-attacking team. And, historically, City have had problems with them. So, I think that'll be the closest, but I still see City coming away with it.
All right. And just like that, we're about out of time. I want to thank Keshav Udeshi for standing in for Jeremy Fader. And if you guys liked him, text us and we'll just get rid of Jeremy. It'll be nice and easy, and, it'll be great. Season 2 of Spitballing coming back at you now on our new time, Thursdays from 6:30 to 7. Thanks for listening. I miss you, Pop Pop, and we'll see you next time.